Good morning, Miss Yara. So today we will be presenting about hotel management system OSCE program for the Apurva Hotel in Bali. So let's get started. So our content is divided into 8 parts. The first one is introduction of our team. The second one is the purpose of the program. The third one is for home menu. The fourth is for admin menu. The fifth is for employee menu. The sixth is for the customer menu. The seventh is for demo, and the last part is for the conclusion of this program. So let us briefly introduce ourselves, and this is our team. Hello, my name is Darrell Setiawan. My student ID is AIT2409116, and I'm the leader of this group track, and I'm responsible for employee menu, view history, view rooms, view customer, register user, and the validation input.
Hello, my name is Fernando Hartono with student ID AIT2409116, and I'm responsible for admin menu, record employee, logout customer, change default day, and validation testing.
Hello, my name is Filbert and my ID is AIT2409116. I'm responsible for customer menu, login user, booking room, program flow and algorithm, and validation input.
Hello, my name is Galen Maximilian. My ID number is AIT2409098, and I'm mostly responsible for the employee menu.
Hello, I am Christofan Ng. My student ID is AIT2409115. I'm responsible for making the admin menu, view employee, change password, and record room function.
My name is Fidelius from Gandisaputra. My ID is AIT2409103. I'm responsible at home menu, display, customer menu, view rooms, and view booking.
The main purpose of this project is to create a simple and efficient hotel management system for Apurva Kempinski Hotel. This system will help to automate important tasks like booking room, making bills, and keeping cash records. By doing this, we can reduce mistakes, make work more accurate, and give guests a better experience. The system will also include tools to manage resources better and create a useful reports. Those will make a daily task more easier and help the hotel make a better services and decisions.
Before diving into the code, let me explain the text file we use for loading and storing data. First, we got accommodation data.txt. This file contains details about hotel rooms. Its line include room ID, room name corresponding to its ID, and array of booked date. The concept of this array will be explained further in book room function. Beside it, we got history.txt. This file keeps a record for all booking history. Its line contains customer ID, password, customer name, booking date, room time, check-in and check-out dates, booking status, and total price. To handle space in data like names or room types, we use hyphen when saving. During display, these hyphen are replaced with space for better readability. Next, we have file to store the room details. Roomdetails.txt store room types, room capacity, and price per night, while another file like room description store the description for each room types. This file acts like a dictionary, helping us refer the specific details and description for each room type. Next, we have customer.txt. This file stores customer information including customer ID, password, name, age, phone number, email, and total billing across all booking for that customer. And then we got employee.txt to record the employee account, including employee ID, password, name, department, and salary. And then we have default date file to store the program default date or current date on the system.
First, the system displays the main menu, the main home menu. The interface serves as the entry point for the users to interact with various options available in the application. Next, the user select an option by entering a choice ranging from 1 to 4. Each number corresponds to a specific function or section within the system. Once the input is provided, the system validates it to ensure it falls within the acceptable range. This is the step prevents error and maintains smooth operation. Finally, the system assigns the execute the appropriate function based on the validated input. This step ensures the users directed to the desired operation or section.
This program simulates a basic hotel management system with a menu-driven interface, allowing users to navigate between admin, employee, and customer roles. The main menu offers 4 options: admin, employee, customer, and exit. Admins and employee go through a simulated login process to access their respective menus, where admins manage hotel operations and employees handle tasks like bookings and guest services. Customers can directly access to their menu to explore services, make reservations, and provide feedback. The program ensures user-friendly navigation with clear instructions, error handling for invalid inputs, and smooth exit option. The structure can be easily expanded for real-world application.
In this section, we'll go over the flow of the admin menu and its key functions. The admin menu plays a crucial role in managing the system effectively. The process begins with the admin login. The system prompts the admin to input their username and password. These credentials are then validated to ensure only authorized personnel can access the system. If the system fails, the system denies access and prompts the admin to retry. Once logged in successfully, the admin menu is displayed. The menu consists of 8 choices, each corresponding to a specific functionality. The admin can choose from these options to perform tasks such as view rooms, view employees, record room, and more. After selecting an option by entering a number between 1 and 8, the system performs input validation. If the input is invalid, such as entering a number outside the range or a non-numeric character, the system notifies the admin and asks for a valid choice. Once a valid input is provided, the system assigns and executes the corresponding function. For instance, option 1, viewing rooms, option 2, viewing employees, option 3, viewing customers, and so on until all 8 options are covered. Each function performs a specific task critical to the system's operations. Let's walk through the flow of the admin section and how the code is implemented. First, the admin needs to log in. This is handled by the login admin function. Inside this function, we use variables ID and password to collect the admin's credentials using scanf. A while loop limits the number of login attempts to 3, and the validate admin function checks if the input matches the stored admin credentials. If the credentials are correct, we print a success message with printf and return 1 to indicate a successful login. If not, the admin is prompted to try again or exit. This is controlled by a nested while loop and an if-else block, which handles input like y or for exiting or n for retry. After a successful login, the admin menu function is called to show the admin menu. The do while loop ensures the menu is displayed at least once, no matter what. The admin can interact with the menu until they select the option to exit. In the menu, the admin is presented with 8 choices. This is done using printf to display the menu options. We then use scanf to take the admin's input and validate it. If the input is invalid, a simple error message is printed. An invalid input is cleared with a while get char loop. Based on the admin's input, the switch statement calls the appropriate function for selected option. For example, if the admin selects option 1, the view rooms function is called. Each function, like view employees or record room, handles specific tasks related to admin actions. If the input doesn't match any of the options, the default case in the switch statements prints an error message. Option 8 in the menu is specifically for returning to the main menu. When selected, it breaks the loop and the admin exits the menu.
So the first function is for view rooms. It will start by loads the room from the accommodation data.txt. After that, the user will input start and end date, and the program will calculate the input and will search available and the booked room based on the date from the array that available in the accommodation.txt. After that, it will display available and booked room based on the date. So the first one is to load rooms and input start and end date. After that, the program will calculate the total day that they want to search. After that, it will display the view room page that contain the room type and how much room available and book. After that, there is also a validation if there is no data in accommodation.txt.
Okay, this is the view employees function program flow. The system retrieves all employee data from the database or file using the load employees function. This step ensures the most up-to-date information is available for display. Then the system organizes and presents each employee's details in a formatted table. Information includes the employee ID, password, name, department, and salary. Before displaying, any hyphens in the names or departments are replaced with space for better readability. The FieldEmployees function displays a formatted table of employee data. It starts by loading data into an array using the loadEmployees function, which returns the total number of employees. If no data is found, it displays a message and exits. The function prints a table header with aligned columns for ID, password, name, department, and salary. To improve readability, hyphens in employee's name and departments are replaced with spaces by iterating through the strings and modifying the characters. After sanitizing the data, the function loops through the employee array, displaying each employee's details in a structured table row. Fields are aligned using specific width format, and salaries are shown with 2 decimal places. The table is finalized with a closing border, presenting the data clearly and professionally for administrator.
So the third function is for the view booking list. It will start by load the customer history from the txt data that contains ID, password, name, booking date, room number, room type, check-in date, and check-out date. After that, it will display all the customer history except the check-out customer. So the check-out customer will not be displayed on the view booking list. So the first code is to load the history of the customer, and there is also a validation if there is no customer available on the txt. And the second code is to print all the customer list except the checkout guest or the customer. So the fourth function is to view the customer. It will start by load the customer from the customer.txt. After that, it will display all the customer information, including name, ID, password, email, age, phone number, and the total billing of the customer. So here is the code for the viewing a customer. The first code is to load the customer from the customer.txt. After that, the next code is to display all the customer information using a for loops.
Okay, so this is the flow for the record room function. So first, admin navigates to the record room section. Then the admin input the type of room to be recorded or updated. Then the system checks if the room type already exists in the database. If the room type exists, admin can update the price and add more rooms of the same type. And if it's a new room type, admin inputs total number of rooms, room capacity, and price details. Then the system records the new or updated room details into the appropriate files. The function begins by loading existing room data from a file using load rooms. The file contains details like room type, capacity, price, and availability, which are read line by line using fgets. Each line is split into tokens with delimiters to extract and store key details in memory. The function then prompts the admin to input a room type using fgets. Sanitizing the input by removing extra spaces or new line characters. It checks if the room type exists by comparing it with loaded data in a search loop. If a match is found, a flag is set, and relevant data is retrieved. For existing room type, the admin can update details like price or capacity. To add more room, the function calculates new room number by finding the highest existing ID and generating sequential IDs. For new room types, the admin provides detail like capacity, total room, and price, which are validated before generating no room number. These are stored in memory for saving. Finally, updated data is written to a temporary file to ensure integrity. If error occur during saving, the original file remains unaffected. For a new room type, the program prompts the admin to input details like total room, capacity, and price per night, validating each to ensure they are within acceptable ranges like positive capacity and price above zero. Invalid inputs prompt re-entry until valid. Next, unique room number are generated starting from the next available ID and saved in a file for future use. Room description are also recorded in another file to ensure all details are properly documented. After updates or additions, modified data is saved to files such as roomdetails.txt for capacities and price and accommodationdata.txt for room numbers. Temporary files are used to ensure integrity with error checking logic handling issues like missing files or insufficient permissions. The function accounts for edge cases such as preventing additions beyond system limits or resolving duplicate room type entries by using the latest data. File access errors are handled gracefully by creating backups or notifying the admin for manual resolution.
Now, let's discuss the flow of a specific function inside the admin menu, which is the record employee. The process begins by loading all existing employee data into memory. This is essential to check whether the employee ID exists and ensure smooth updates. The admin is prompted to enter the employee's unique ID. This ensures that each operation is tied to a specific employee. Once the ID is provided, the system checks if it exists in the loaded data. If the ID existed, an override option will be given. If the ID has not existed, the admin is prompted to input the employee's password, This step is crucial to either verify identity or update password-related data. The system validates the password input, ensuring it meets predefined criteria such as length and character requirements. If the validation fails, the admin is asked to re-enter it correctly. Next, the admin is prompted to input or update the employee's data, such as name, department, and salary. The system validates the new or updated data. For example, it might check that fields like salary are numerical, the name contains valid characters, and are required fields are not empty. Finally, the validated data is updated in the system and a success message is displayed. The updated record is saved either to memory or back to a file, ensuring persistence. This flow ensures data integrity, prevents invalid updates, and maintains a structured process for managing employees' records. Now, let's look at the implementation of employee data management function, which is the record employee. At start of the function, we called load employees to load existing employee records into an array. This is stored in the employees array, and the count of existing employees is tracked using the count variable. This ensures that all operations, such as adding or updating data, are performed on the most recent dataset. The admin is prompted to input the employee ID. This is done using fgets, which captures the ID into the ID_emp variable. We then sanitize the input by removing the new line character using string CSPN. This avoids unintended issues during validation. The input is validated using conditions. The first, if the ID contains spaces, we print an error message and prompt the admin to re-enter. This is checked with the str-chr with the parameter ID_emp and with the empty with the empty double quotes in single quotes. If the ID doesn't meet the specific criteria, like including a number, the isValidCustomerID function is called, and errors are handled similarly. A do-while loop ensures the admin cannot proceed without entering a valid ID. Once a valid ID is entered, a for loop iterates through the existing employee data to check if the entered ID matches any current record. If a match is found, the found variable is set to 1, and the admin is notified that the employee ID already exists. Here, we use strcmp for a string comparison, which returns 0 if the IDs match. If the ID already exists, the admin is asked if they want to overwrite the data. This is done using a scanf to capture their choice. If the choice is N or either it's smaller letter or capital letter, the operation is cancelled and we return to the menu. Otherwise, the existing records index is updated for overwriting. If the ID is new or the admin chooses to overwrite, we proceed to input the employee's data. This includes fields such as password_emp, name, department, and salary. The data is stored in the respective variables. Each input is validated based on predefined criteria, ensuring that no invalid data is stored. For example, passwords must meet complexity requirements, salaries must be positive numbers. If the found flag is set, the data is updated in the array at the matching index, using string copy for strings and direct assignment for numerical values like salary. If it's a new employee, we check if the maximum employee limit, max employees, had been reached. If not, the data is added to the next available slot in the array and the count is incremented. If the limit is reached, an error message is displayed and no further data can be added. Next, we move into detailed steps where the admin inputs and validates the employee's data. The admin is asked to enter a password for the employee. This is captured using fgets and stored in the password variable. To ensure clean input, we remove any trailing new line character using strcspn. A validation step ensures that the password does not exceed the maximum length, max password length. If it does, an error message is displayed, and the admin must re-enter the password. Once validated, the password is copied to the password_emp variable using string copy. The admin is prompted to enter the employee's name and department captured using fgets. Similar to the password, trailing new line characters are removed to ensure the clean input. Additionally, spaces in the name and department are replaced with hyphens using the replace_spaces_with_hyphens function to standardize the format. The admin is then asked to input the employee salary. Input is captured using scanf, and validation is performed in a loop to ensure The input is numeric. If not, an error message is displayed and the admin must re-enter the value. The salary is non-negative. If a negative salary is entered, an error message prompts the admin to enter a valid value. Once all inputs are validated, the employee's data is saved or updated in the array. To save changes permanently, the updated data is written back to the employee.txt file. A file pointer is used to open the file in writing mode, and each employee's data is written using fprintf in a structured format. If the file cannot be opened, an error message is displayed and the process terminates. Otherwise, the file is successfully updated and we close it with fclose. After updating the file, the updated data is reloaded into memory by calling the load employees function again. This ensures the application is synced and with the latest changes. A success message, employee record successfully updated, confirms that the operation is complete. In this section, we'll go through the steps involved in changing the default day of a room schedule. The system first displays the current default date for the room. This serves as a reference for the admin or users making the change. The user is prompted to input a new date. This input is then captured for further processing. The new date is validated to ensure it is in the correct format and falls within an acceptable range. If the date is invalid, the system will prompt the user to re-enter the value. After validating the date, the system loads the relevant data for the room where the default date needs to be changed. The system parses or processes the loaded data, preparing it for modification based on a new date. Finally, the system updates both the room's data and the default date to reflect the changes made. This ensures all records remain consistent and up to date. This stems from a robust framework that prioritizes accuracy in handling updates while ensuring user input is properly validated. Next, we move into the detailed steps where the user updates the default date and validates it. The program begins by displaying the current default date using the display default date function. This function retrieves the default day, default month, and default year variables, formats them as day, month, year, and prints them to the screen. The program prompts the user to input a new default date using the input date function. The function displays a message indicating the expected format and captures the input using scanf. A static array stores the input string to ensure it persists after the function ends. To clean the input, any trailing new line character is removed using getChar. Once a new date is captured, the validate date function is called. This function checks if the input string corresponds to a valid date, for example, within range and correctly formatted. If validation fails, the program loops back to prompt the user for a new date. Validation also ensures that the new default date is not the same as the current one. If it is, an error message will be displayed. If the new date passes validation, the program updates the default date by assigning the values of the new day, month, and year to the respective variables. A confirmation message is displayed indicating the successful update. After updating the date, the program attempts to read the accommodation data.txt file. Using the fopen function in read mode, it ensures the file is available for operations. If the file cannot be opened, an error message is displayed and the program exits the function. Next, we handle the process of parsing and adjusting book dates followed by updating the file data. The program begins by reading a line from the file containing the room number, room type, and book dates. Using scanf, the room details are extracted into their variables room number, room type, and book dates string. To isolate the book dates, the program searches for the starting bracket and ending brackets with the string using string chr. The contents between the brackets are processed by adjusting pointers to remove brackets themselves. The program processes the book dates, which are represented as a comma-separated string of integers. Using strtok, the dates are tokenized and converted to integers using atoy. For each book date, an adjustment is applied by subtracting the value of new total day. The adjusted dates are formatted back into a string using snp printf and concatenated into a single output string separated by commas. Once all lines are processed, the program writes the updated data back to accommodation data.txt. The file is opened in write mode using fopen. If all the file fails to open, an error message is displayed. After updated line is written back to the file using fprintf, and after writing, the file is closed using fclose. And finally, the new default day, month, and year values are saved to a separated file named defaultday.txt. The file is opened in write mode, and the new default date is formatted as day, month, year. The program writes this information to the file and then closes it.
So now I will tell you about the employee, such as employee menu. So the employee menu contains 7 following steps to the employee menu, including login employee for the users to begin login, begins by logging in with their credentials. And then second is validate login. So the system verifies the login credentials. And the third one is display employee menu. If the login is successful, a menu with options 1 until 7 is displayed. The fourth is the input choice, either 1 until 7. The user select an option for from the menu. So the fifth is validated input. The system checks whether the selected input is valid or not. So the last but not least, assign function based on input. Depending on the validate choice, a specific function or task is executed. So the employee login functionality allows employees to authenticate themselves by entering their ID and password, which are verified against a stored database file or employee.txt. The system permits up to 3 login attempts. After each failed attempt, the user can choose to retry or exit the process. If the credentials match, the login is successful, and the system proceeds to the employee menu. Otherwise, after the 3 failed attempts, or if the user opts to exit, the program displays an error message and returns to the main menu. This design ensures security, user-friendliness, and proper navigation. The employee menu function provides employees with a detailed interface to manage their tasks, displaying personalized information such as their name, ID, department, and salary. The menu offers various options, including viewing booking list, customer details, room statuses, facilitating customer check-ins and check-outs, and room booking. The system ensures user-friendly interaction by validating input and prompting for corrections when invalid choices are made. It maintains a clean, responsive design by clearing the screen and reloading the menu after each action, supporting efficient navigation and task management. The SNP presents a menu-driven system where the user can choose from various options such as view history, view customers, view rooms, check in a customer, check out the customers, book a room, or log out. The code uses a switch case statement to execute the corresponding action based on the user's choice. The loop ensures that the user can continue interacting with the system until they choose to log out.
So for the view booking list, view customer, and the view rooms in the employee menu is same like in the admin menu before that I have been explained.
The flowchart outlines the steps involved in checking customer into a hotel or accommodation. It starts by displaying a default date, then guides the employee through entering the customer's name, validating the input, confirming the check-in, and finally presenting the employee with a menu of options for further actions. This code segment implements the check-in functionality for a customer in a hotel or similar system. It prompts the user for the customer's name, validates input, updates the customer status and date in system, and saves the information to a file. The code is well structured and uses clear variables, names, and comments to enhance readability. These flowcharts outline the steps involved in checking a customer out of our hotel. It starts by displaying a default date, then guides the employee through selecting the customer checkout, validating the input, confirming the checkout, and finally presenting the employee with a menu of options for further actions. This code segments implements for the checkout functionality for a customer in our hotel. It prompts the user for the customer's name, validates the input, search for the customer in the system, updates the customer status and billing information, and save the changes to files. The code is well structured and uses clear variable names and comments to enhance readability.
Now, let's move on to the bookroom function. The general flow of the bookroom is as shown in the PPT slide. This function is shared between the employee menu and the customer menu, but there is a slight difference in the beginning. When an employee uses this function, as you might notice in the blue circle, employee first needs to input the customer ID before calling the bookroom function. Let me explain how bookroom algorithm handle parsing and saving dates. First, the program uses default date as reference point. For this example, let's assume the default date is 1 December 2024. The user then input their check-in and check-out dates. These dates are converted into integers that represent how many days they are formed from the default date. For example, if check-in date is 5 December 2024, it's 4 days away from default date. Similarly, if check-out date is 10 December, it's 9 days away from the default date. By subtracting the check-out date value and check-in value, we determine the total night booked, in this case, 5 nights. Next, the system creates an array to store all the dates the user will be staying, ranging from the check-in to the check-out. This array then compared to the existing booking data in accommodation_data. If all the integers in the array are not already found in the booking data array, it means the room is available. For example, the room 1160, 7 is in the booking data array, so it's not available for the date. Once the availability is confirmed, the system will display the total availability for each room type, and then the user will choose the room type that they wanted. The system then searches for the first available room ID that matches with the selection. For example, if room ID 1001 and 002 is available, then the system will assign room 1001 for the user. At this stage, the system displays the booking details for user to confirm. If the user changes their mind, they can cancel the booking at this point. Once the user confirms the booking, the program will save the booking information and update all relevant text file related to this reservation. By following this approach, the system will avoid any schedule conflicting. From this point on, we will move on to the customer menu. Customer menu system begins with initiate system function. The user initially log in as guest, and the loop is initiated, and all data from the files is loaded. Next, we move to the main customer menu. This menu operates in a loop. If user login as a guest, then guest menu will be displayed. If user login is with their customer ID, then the customer menu is displayed. This continues until the user chooses to exit. Before exiting, the system will save all changes in the file and ensuring all the data remains up to date. Finally, the program exits the loop and returns to the main menu. We talk about guest menu first. When entering the guest menu, it will display all options. The customer needs to select the function that they want to access 1 to 4. There is a validation to ensure the right selection, and then they will be assigned to each function that they select.
The first step is displaying the customer menu. The interface provides the users with a set of options tailored to their needs and access level after they log in. The user is prompted to select an option by entering a choice between 1 and 6. Each option corresponds to specific action or functionalities, such as viewing information or accessing additional menus. The system then validates the user's input. This step ensures that the entered choice is within the defined range and prevent invalid inputs from disrupting the process. Finally, the system assigns the executed and proceed function based on the validated input. This step ensures the user is directed to the correct operation seamlessly. The process begins with the display customer menu function. It first mirrors the screen and fetches the name of the login customer, ensuring the personalized experience by displaying the customer name at the top of the menu. Next, the program prints on the available options, which include viewing rooms, booking, checking, booking history, logout, and changing the password. The user is prompted to select a choice by entering a number. The system ensures robust input handling by validating the user's input. If an invalid input, such as a non-numeric or out-of-range value, is detected, the program prompts the users to try again, maintaining errors-free execution. Switch case logic. After a valid choice is entered, the program's user is switch case structures to process the selection. This case corresponds to a specific functionality. Case 1 accesses view rooms functions to display the room. Case 2 calls book room to allow room bookings. Case 3 access view booking to display user booking history. Case 4 logout function ending the session. Case 5 change the user's password using the change password function. In this step, the system delivers all relevant data about a room, such as specification, features, and associated information. This data is sourced from the backend and database. After loading the data, the system processes the present the information in a easily understandable format for the users. This could be through a user's interface like a web page or app screen. Functions start by the opening the files, room details, and room description. in read mode. These files contain the relevant data for room attributes and their descriptions. While room interread through each room entry, it retrieves data such as room type, capacity, and price from the files. Using formatted output, the information is displayed in a structured table format, ensuring clarity for the end users. The function is translating new lines from description and ensure no entry left without proper data. For rooms without description, a default message like no description available is displayed.
For the bookroom function in customer, it has similar flow with the previous explained in the bookroom function in employee. But in customer, instead of inputting the customer ID, it will check whether the customer is logging in or not. If not, the customer will redirect to login register menu first before being able to book a room.
The process begins with the user login into the system. Proper authentication ensures the only authorized individuals can access booking details. On login, user can search for specific bookings. This could involve using filters like booking ID, username, date, or room type to narrow down the results. After performing a search, system retrieves and display the relevant bookings details. The data is presented in a user-friendly format, making it easy for users to review and manage their reservation. The function view bookings first check if the user is logged in as a guest. If so, it prompts the users to log into the access booking details. This ensures that only authenticated users can view sensitive booking information. Once user logged in, the function retrieves booking history using the get history in index method. The method requires a database or file to fetch all booking associated with the login user. The function iterates over the retrieved data and format it for display. It is clearly labeled to like room type, date, and price. Ensure the information is easy to understand. If no booking are around the system, inform the user appropriately.
Next, we move on to the logout process, which resets the user's login status and transitions back to the guest mode. The logout function is called when the user selects the logout option. Within the function, the login as variable is updated to the string guest, effectively changing the user's login status back to guest. This step ensures that the user is no longer associated with any previous login credentials or privileges. A confirmation message is displayed using printf, stating logout successfully. This provides feedback to the user confirming the logout process was completed. Once logged out, the programs direct the user back to the customer menu as a guest. This ensures the user can continue to navigate the system with limited access until they log in again. This simple yet effective logout mechanism ensures a secure and seamless transition back to guest mode.
The change password function in our hotel management system follows a clear and straightforward process. First, the program verifies the user's role to ensure that only registered user, not guests, can change their passwords. It then retrieves the customer index using the getCustomerIndex function, which identifies the user based on their login credentials. If the index is invalid, the function exits. Next, a program prompts the user to input their new password using scanf, storing the input in the nil password variable. Once the input is received, the new password is securely saved by copying it into the respective customer's record in the system database using strcpy. Finally, the program displays a confirmation message, password changed successfully, to inform the user that the process is complete.
Now in login and register menu. The login register menu is a gateway for user to access the system. It operates in a loop and offers three options: login, register, or cancel. If the user chooses to login or register, they will redirect into login or register. If login or register is success, they will automatically be returned to original function, bookroom or view room. If not, this menu will loop and they can try again or choose to cancel. If the input is invalid, the user will be prompted to try again. This is login function, and login function is straightforward. This is the input ID and password code. We do a validation here. For ID, we validate so it must contain both letter and number with no space. For the password, it must less than 12 characters long. If the ID is valid and then ID is found and the password is same as the input, then the login is successful. Else, login is failed.
So today I will start the demo about this project. So the first one, you need to read the README. So this one is an important thing. So it will clear how to run this program. There are also admin account, the ID and the password, employee account, ID and the password, the customer account, ID and the password, for example, to login. So let's get started. So here's the home menu of this program. There's a tree: admin, employee, and customer. The first one is admin. So it is full with validation. So the first one is for the admin. It is also with a full validation. For example, admin password. There is this in README. So read README is important. The first one is to view rooms. So we will search for available and book room from this range of date. For example, we input so the date is 2012 to 2024. For example, I want to input 19. So I cannot. So 2024 until 2024. It will display how much room available and book on the day from this room of type. And then for view employees, it will view the ID, the password, the name, the department, and their salary of the employee. For that, we view the booking list, which is the history of the customer that is check-in, book, check-in, and book with their booking date, check-in date, and their check-out date. And then we can view customer. There's a customer information. And then we can go to the record room. We can add our edge room. For example, I want to add a room, residential suite, with the detail, the most expensive one, for example. Then the total rooms, for example, is 1. The capacity is 5. It's also with validation, or is for with a validation, with a valid price, for example, 5,000 ringgit. Okay. So we can view on this view rooms that this will automatically add. Okay. With that, when we want to record an employee or add an employee, for example, you want add to employee, I cannot because it must use no space and must include number. So for example, AMP 118 for the password is admin 123. For the name, for example, Yado Tanjiro. And the department is front office. Their salary is 1,600. Okay. When we go to the view employees, we'll automatically add in the system. Okay. Then there's a new function that is change default day. So when the date is 20 December 2024, we can change into, for example, 25 December 2024. Like that. It will change automatically. Okay, for example, I want to change again to 20 December 2024. So to the date, and then we will go to back to the main menu. The second is for employee. Input validation 2, and example correct ID and password for employee. So it will display welcome employee Darrell, ID, department, and their salary. First, the view booking list, the view customer, and the view rooms is same like before. It's exactly same like before. Okay. So the difference is just for customer check-in. So when the date is 20 December, so we can just only check in for customer that their check-in date is on that day. For example, in the data, we can know that John is check-in at 20 December, and Dion is check out in 20 of December. While I put Theo, it will not come out. Example, I want to check in. I put Theo, it will cannot cut check-in fail for Theo, either not booked or not eligible for checkout for check-in today. So we go to customer check-in, then example John, check-in successful for John, and then for checkout from the data is Dion, checkout successful for. And so in the history.txt, it will automatically change this to check-in and this to check-out. Also, we can book room for the customer. We can help offline customer to book there. For example, I have customer 001. For example, they want to book from 25 December to 27 December, which is 2 days. In the 2 days. So there is an available room for this room of type. For example, they want to book the 8 room. Okay, junior suite clarification with their description, room capacity, price per night, and the total price. You want to continue? Yes. If yes, the booking is successfully. And to view their billings, they must go to customer section, which is view bookings. And you must log in with a correct form. And you will see your few bookings for your junior suite cliff ocean. You book from 25 to 27 for 7,000 ringgit, and this is your total billing because this customer already booked many room type for this date. For example, I want to exit again. I want to go back to the customer menu. This is a guest menu. Guests can view rooms, but mm, mm, cannot book room and view their bookings because they must register first or log in first. So this is the rooms, which we can look for the room type, the capacity, the price, and the description. Then when we go to the book room, it will look for login menu. So for example, I want to register. Enter a customer ID. For example, to use my name, Darrell 12345, and enter password. For example, Darrell good. My name, full name, my age. When I book with age under 17, it cannot. So I must register again. For example, Darrell 12345, Darrell good. Darrell, example 18. Okay. This is with also a clear validation input. Email to if you will not add and at gmail.com like that, it will error. So we can book room for me. What if I want to book before this date? For example, 19 December 2024. It will cannot because you cannot book past date. And the date is 20/12/2024. Example, I want to book from 1st January 2025 until 3 January 2035. It will show how much room available, room type, and what if I want to book the Grand Deluxe twin room. Okay, room capacity, Grand Deluxe room, price per night is 1,600, and I book for 2 days, 103, which is the total price is 3,200. Sorry. You want to continue? Yes. Okay. So I can view my bookings. This is my bookings, my total billings, and I can change my password too. For example, Darrell code 2345. So if I want to log out and I want to log in again, 1235. Scale because my password has changed. Okay, can we go directly to the exit? And here is my project with my team.
Alright, so in conclusion, our hotel management system for Apurva Kempinski Hotel is designed to streamline hotel operations and improve overall efficiency by automating key tasks such as room booking, billing, and guest record management. The system minimizes manual errors and enhances accuracies. Additionally, it supports better resources management and provides insightful reporting to aid decision making. Most importantly, the system is focused on delivering a seamless and user-friendly experience, ensuring customer satisfaction and elevating the hotel service standards. With this system, we believe that Apurva Kempinski Hotel will be better equipped to streamline its operations and provide an enhanced guest experience. We are grateful for the opportunity to present this project, and we sincerely appreciate your attention and feedback. Thank you for your time and consideration.